Hi, you're listening to Book Chat with author Vivian E. Moore.
Welcome, everybody, to this week's episode. We really appreciate you joining us. This podcast really shows us how we can all learn, live, and thrive off of each other. By sharing our knowledge through our conversations, we will impart some knowledge whilst learning ourselves how to progress even further. Here is your host.
Hello and welcome to Book Chat. I am your host, author Vivian E. Moore. I hope everyone is having a fantastic Saturday. I hope you had a great week. I hope where you are, the weather is nice and warm. It's nice and hot where we are and sticky, but it's summer. And as soon as fall gets here, we will be missing summer, I'm pretty sure, before it's all said and done. But today, guys, we have another guest. We have with us author Cindy Stone, and I'm going to let Cindy come in and introduce herself to you, and then we'll talk a little bit about what she does. Hi, Cindy. How are you?
Hi, Vivian. Thank you so much for having me on your show. I'm really excited.
You're so welcome, and I'm excited to have you, especially before we get into the talk. But let's talk about you for a little bit. Let's talk about who you are and what you do.
Well, I've been a practicing registered psychotherapist for most of my adult life, so many decades now. And I've also written several books. The first book that I wrote was called The Incidental Guru, and it's a self-development book. And it, in a memoir style, it was based on a crazy, beautiful rescue dog that I adopted, and he ended up quite the challenge.
Okay.
And so I wrote a book about relationships, the relationship that we have with ourselves and with our animals and with our partners and with our friends and with our families and with our world.
All things important.
And then I wrote another book called Scoprion, which is it's a novel.
Okay.
And that one I'm pretty excited about.
Yes, you should be.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And so that's pretty much who I am.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's a lot, That's quite a bit to go from being a registered psychotherapist and hypnotherapist, and also you study martial arts, correct?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
And did you want to hear the story of how I ended up getting introduced to it? Because it's
I do.
Okay, so I was walking down the beach. I used to live in Toronto, Ontario, and I was walking along the beach there early one morning, and I saw this very handsome man doing martial arts and teaching a class right there on the beach at sunrise. And I was walking my crazy dog that I had adopted. And so, of course, my dog went running over and disrupting the class. And but it looked so interesting and so different. And we started talking, and we became very good friends. And I started studying an internal martial art called Bagwazang, which is a sister art to the more well-known martial art, which I also study, Tai Chi.
Tai Chi, okay.
And there's a third one. There's three of them. And the third one is Xingyi.
Xingyi, okay.
And they're all three called internal martial arts.
Okay.
And most people say, well, what does that mean? And it's different from the other martial arts that there are in that it really develops the internal energy so that you use more energy rather than force.
Oh, okay.
And that's what makes it really unique. Plus, it's more like a holistic system where you are developing your internal energy and strength and power from there rather than from your muscles,
Okay.
Which is a good thing for me because I'm kind of a small woman.
Uh-huh.
And you do Qigong for health and for development of the energy as well, and meditation. And so you kind of have to do everything.
That sounds very relaxing. It does.
Well, it's funny because it is in a way relaxing because you do practice it very slowly, but you also practice it really quickly.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
and it's done as a fighting art,
Okay.
not just, we think about Tai Chi and we think about the people in the park.
Right.
And we do it really slowly.
Right.
And it's really about health.
Mm-hmm.
But every one of those movements has an incredibly powerful martial application.
Okay.
And when you join the health aspect to the martial application, the whole practice becomes much richer.
Okay. Well, I've learned something today because it's like you said, you see people doing the chai tea, and it is more of like a to me it's sort of like yoga, except you're not on the mat doing it, you're sort of standing doing it, but and it seems more meditative, than like you said, using it as a form of fighting, but still it's all interesting. I think that's why I have always been a big fan of martial arts, because to me it is like they're dancing even when they're fighting.
It is. It's wonderful. I mean, I love all of the martial arts, and I love all of the movies, and I love all of the books, and it's just a wonderful way to learn about life in I think a much richer way than just walking through life without any of this.
Right, and I agree with you on that. I do. It gives you a chance in doing those exercises to reflect really, and to use your mind more, to strengthen it. Strengthen your mind while you're strengthening your body. That to me sounds like a win-win. It definitely does. So we're gonna come back to the martial arts part of it as we get into this book, Scoprion, the Myriad series. So I had to, we chatted a bit before we actually went live. And so I had to go out and check that book out. And I like the cover too, by the way. I really like the cover of it.
Thank you.
Very, very nice.
My nephew's wife designed the cover, and I love it.
Kudos to her, because she did excellent. I love that cover. I really do. And I mean, it just pulls you straight to it. And so I wanted to do the take a look inside, but it's just available on the hard copy. So I definitely got to get it, because like I said, I love books and movies, that's dealing with martial arts. But let's talk about the Scoprion series, book 1. Let's talk about that.
Yes.
Now, I did read the synopsis of the book, and so I know that there are 3 major players in this book. Aiden Kane is the martial arts expert, and then we have Master Zing, who is like the evil person in the story. The antagonist.
Yes, one's a great teacher. Well, he's still a great teacher, but kind of has gone to the dark side.
Okay. Well, that always makes the story more interesting. And then we have Avery Adams, and she is the daughter of a wealthy, powerful New York family. So tell us about this. Tell us about this book.
You know what? There's 3 small sentences on the cover, and I think it just really captures it. It says, "An ancient power, a modern mystic, and the enemy unleashed." And it's a story about this. Basically, the story at its core is about the empowerment of a young woman. And she is Avery Adams, the daughter of an extremely wealthy, powerful, who turns out rather manipulative man. And her mother had died about a few years before the book begins, in a very mysterious way. And so she had been depressed and, not happy. And one day she's coming back from being at school, and she had put on a pendant necklace that her mother had given her before she died.
Okay.
And when she put that necklace on, she started to feel dizzy and, sort of just a little off. And she got into the subway, which was strange for her because she had been suffering from anxiety disorder. And she got in the subway, and suddenly somebody was coming at her and grabbing at her, and she fell into the subway.
Oh my gosh.
And at that moment, she meets Aiden Kane,
Okay.
who is this master martial artist. And he is just glowing and with this internal energy. And that's what she sees. And she thinks he's an angel.
Okay.
And of course, I told you about that very handsome man on the beach.
Yes.
He literally glowed.
Oh my gosh.
Around his body, I'd never seen anything like that. He literally glowed. And I just remember that first moment that I saw him and thought, oh, wow, I want that.
Yeah.
I want to glow.
I know.
Learn how to glow. Really.
Without having to do all of the stuff.
Fighting anybody. Like, I'm not going to fight anybody. I'm a wimp. I really want to glow.
We just want that glow. That's the most important thing. So,
Exactly.
to have that. Yes, I love that. I love that.
So that moment in the book changes Avery Adams.
Okay.
Something happens, something comes alive in her soul, and she starts to look for him, which seems like ridiculous in a city the size of New York.
Right.
Like, how is she going to find him? And so that begins the story, and of course she does find him, and her life even changes more
from that one experience.
It just becomes an incredible story about the stone that she wears in her pendant that her mother gave her, and her father is not the man she thought he was.
Wow.
And so it's I find it a really rich story because so many things are happening on so many levels.
Okay. Well, I know that, or either I can surmise that the story probably developed because of your love of martial arts. But why did you choose the book title? What inspired you to choose that title, Scoprion, for this book?
Hey, that's a really good question.
Okay.
And I will tell you why.
Okay.
There is a reason.
Okay.
I was given a necklace with 3 ancient stones on it that come from the 1st century.
Okay.
Like, it's amazing. It's like wearing this piece of history. And each stone has a different carving in it. And the first stone has a scorpion.
Wow.
And so and it was the inspiration for the energy stones that I gave to Avery for the story. And so that's how the story got the name The Scoprion.
Wow. So you even have props for the story. So that's wonderful.
Yes.
When you do have those visual illustrations, because it does help you to create more when you have something to focus on that you can add to the story, add those different layers to the story. So I'm excited about this book. I mean, it just when I read the little short description of it, and you're right, just those 3 sentences: an ancient power, a Martin mystic, and the enemy unleashed. That right there pulled me in, of course, and I wanted to know more about it, even if I wasn't a fan of martial arts. Just reading that made me want to go out and discover more, just to explore, to see what it was about. And it sounds like that it could be a movie. I mean, it could definitely be a movie. Have you ever thought about that?
I wrote it for a movie, and I actually had a really good option from the producer that produced the Academy Award film, The Shape of Water.
Yes, that's a wonderful movie. Yes.
Isn't it a wonderful? I love that movie.
I do too. I love it. Yes.
I love that movie. And so I was really hoping for the movie to be made, and he optioned my book. He loved it. And then, he's like Hollywood businessman, and he's like, you know what? It's the time of the young adult or teen series. It's gone, so we're not going to make the movie now.
Wow.
Sorry.
Wow.
I was like so disappointed because I was really looking forward to seeing it on the screen myself.
I know, but you know, when you look at what's on, talking about young adults and things like that. Mm-hmm. Now, I haven't read this book, but it seems to me like that it's something that the teenagers would be interested in, especially dealing with fantasy and things of that nature. So did you ever think about trying to market it somewhere else? Because, I just think him telling you that was just in error. Because if you look at, what's on, they have all these specific genres, for every age. And that, to me, is something that would just go over well, whether it's teenagers or adults. It's something that they would gravitate to. So have you ever thought about pitching it somewhere else to maybe to Netflix?
Well, I would love to, but I'm not a really very good pitcher.
Oh, okay.
Say, hey, do you want to be my agent? You sound really great. I love your enthusiasm.
Well, that might be my next career, so we'll come back to that. But I just get so excited, when I stumble upon great stories. I have this love relationship with books, and especially great books and great writing. And it was one reason what inspired me to do this show, is to have other authors on to talk about their work, and especially when the books just pull me right in, when I'm so interested in it and so enthusiastic about, what you're writing about, what you're talking about. So I can't help my excitement because I am like a book junkie. I live for great stories every day. I do. I really do.
What? We love stories. We can't get enough of them. It's in us. It's the most natural thing that we have in this world is to create relationships with people and to create stories.
Yes, and it's like when you do that, you are creating relationships between the people and the stories because you're bridging them together. You want to bring them together, and whenever we can do that, whenever we can put those two, it's like playing matchmaker, but you're playing matchmaker for people in books to bring them together, and I just think that's the perfect recipe for helping people to expand their imagination by picking up a book and reading it, and especially children. I think it's wonderful.
Oh, yeah.
Like the Harry Potter series and Lord of the Rings, all of those things. They are heavy on the fantasy, but it gets children involved with books because it helps them to, just to develop their imagination, just by reading them. So it takes them places
It does take them places. And the Harry Potter books, they just changed kids.
Yeah.
For decades.
Mm-hmm.
Like they just love the Harry Potter stories, and they're full of magic and mysticism. It's just metaphors for life anyway.
That's all it is.
I think that they learn really valuable things about themselves by reading those stories.
They really do. I think, for children, that's all they see, is the mystical part of it. But it's like watching Saturday morning cartoons on television when we were kids. We knew they were cartoons, and I didn't equate the things that I saw to real life, and I hope that the children don't do that either when they read those books. They teach great skills, of developing friendships and creating bonds and lasting relationships and things of that nature. So I think mostly I hope that's what the kids get out of those books. And the fun part too of, reading about all these different names and all the things that, that they can do. It's just like, when I was a kid watching Disney on Sunday, because, Disney used to come on Sundays when I was a kid.
Oh, yes, I remember that too.
The Wonderful World of Disney.
Age.
Yeah. But, to me, It was just a great way to escape reality, to watch Disney on Sunday, and to watch Mickey Mouse and Cinderella and all of those great things, and it's something that that has been a part of our lives, from childhood, and it's still going on, to this day. Disney is still making great movies for children, and I just think it's wonderful that now we can have adult books like Harry Potter, the Scorpion, like your book, that can it can entertain us as adults and also entertain maybe the YA in that genre as well. But I'm excited about it, and I know it's a series. So how many parts will this series have?
I believe it should be 2 more books.
2 more books, okay.
I had originally conceived of it as a trilogy.
Okay.
And so I have that kind of span of time in my mind for the stories. Mm-hmm. Although I really like the next one. I really, really like how it is. And, I suppose it's a possibility that it could go beyond that, but I don't think so. I think I'll do 2 more.
Just 2 more. Okay.
In this series, yeah.
Well, now, sometimes, you may say that, but then if the fans, if they really want more, do you think you will expand it if the fans want more than just those 3 books?
Oh, absolutely, because I love these characters. Okay. And I love their story. And I love what they do. So it would be really simple for me to just keep creating it, yes.
Yeah, as long as there's a need for it, just go for it. Yeah, that's what
I would go with it, absolutely.
That's what I always say.
I would not want to disappoint anybody.
So what made you, I know that you really like the martial arts, but I just want to know this for myself. What made you walk away from your career as a psychotherapist to write books about martial arts?
I suppose in a way it's because I'm a psychotherapist that I actually did it. Mm-hmm. I saw I remember what it was like when we used to watch Disney, mm-hmm. and when we used to watch the movies that we watched as children.
Yes.
And those heroes mm-hmm. stay inside of me.
Yes.
And when I'm faced with different challenges, I think about those heroes, and I think about what choices did they make, mm-hmm. and was it a good choice, or was mm-hmm. it not a good choice? And so I was paying attention to what was going on in the teen or the young adult market, really, like from age 19 and
mm-hmm.
up. Mm-hmm. And there was a lot of werewolves and
yes.
vampires, and that's really fun stuff, and it's yes. a really great metaphor for people and stuff. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. However, I just really wanted to write something that would inspire young people and find a kind of focus and commitment and a way of being in life that was really positive, mm-hmm. and that sort of in the realm of possibility magic.
Okay, okay.
This martial arts gives you an empowerment that can feel really powerful, really mm-hmm. strong, mm-hmm. almost magical.
Yes.
And so I thought, if young people knew how much they could feel better about themselves and feel better about life and become inspired. I mean, like your excitement, right?
Yes.
You're just excited about life.
Yes.
That's what martial arts does for you.
Yes.
And so I just really wanted to write a story that had some heroes in it, mm-hmm. so that people could, think about the choices that they make, have that sense of, wow, this is a hero that I admire, and mm-hmm. and then you kind of take them into your heart, and you keep them with you for your whole life. Like, I remember them all from when I was a kid.
Yes, and that's that is the power of great characters. They stay with you. You never lose them. Because I've read books from when I first started reading. Of course, Dr. Seuss was the first book I ever read, but but still, I still remember the very first words, I ever read of the very first Dr. Seuss book, I ever owned. And I haven't forgotten them. I haven't forgotten Dr. Seuss as a whole. But then too, there are other books that I've read where the characters, some books you read and after you read the book, you can't even remember what it was about. But I, it's like, what did I just read? I just read this entire book and I can't remember one thing. But then there are those books that they stay with you, from childhood all the way to adulthood. And, you attribute it to great writing, but you also have to attribute it to the great characters and the roles that they played, the things that they did, because everyone loves heroes. We all have real life heroes in our, in our lives, at least people that we equate, to that hero status. But I think it's wonderful what you're doing. And, whether it's YA or just, for adults or whatever, but as I said before, these type of books are like really, really hot right now. Because they just are, everybody loves fantasy, sci-fi, things of that nature. And, and they're in the top 10 of books that people are really, really reading, especially teenagers. So, or young adults, rather call them young adults than teenagers, because they're about to cross over to that, to that next realm. But too, I just think it's important to develop stories that will entertain, but also teach life lessons. I think that's important, as a writer, to make sure you do that. You're not just writing to entertain, but you're also writing so they'll get something out of it, something that's long lasting that they will carry with them, just like we do. From the movies that we saw when we were kids, and the books also that we read when we were children, that are still a part of our lives. So I think that should be the goal of every writer, not just to become a bestseller, but to make sure what you're selling is something that will change a life, to the better and not for the worse. Yeah,
change a life, exactly. Raise a life up.
Yes.
Really give something. I listened to a wonderful interview with Michael Crichton.
Oh, I love him. I love him too.
He, you know what? I think the best thing that he ever did was this interview. And the interviewer asked him, "Do you think the world can be changed by words?" And I thought, wow, what an interesting question.
Yes.
And Michael Crichton's answer was like really brilliant. He said, "Yes, but it takes a long time." And so we write, and we hope that with every book, that something in the kind of the overall consciousness of the world shifts a tiny bit.
Yes.
Towards the light.
Yes.
And I'm paraphrasing, and some of that's my own words, but
it's okay.
But it was just such a meaningful. How often do you remember a radio interview? I remember that moment, and it keeps coming back to me. And I probably listened to that radio interview about 10 years ago.
Wow.
And I just always remembered that, and that's kind of like how I hope that these words land in the world.
Yes.
Is that in some small way the consciousness is broadened.
Well, that we would hope. That to me is one of my one of the most important things to me as a writer is to give someone hope, and and just change a life, one word at a time, just change a life. And but
even if it's just one person, it's worth it.
Yeah, it is, and pass it along. That's what I always say. Whenever I read a good book, I don't keep it to myself. I pass it along. I tell everybody, like, hey, you need to get this book because it is so good. I tell everybody that I know. Because I just don't want, I want to share it with everyone. I just don't want to keep it to myself because I'm like, it gives me joy, and I want to spread it everywhere.
You really should be an agent.
Well, I would think about that. I would definitely think about that. That, like I said, it may be my next career choice. I don't know. But I get so excited, and I'm just so enthusiastic when it comes to reading and writing. It's my passion. I'm so passionate about it, and talking about it, and having people on that are equally so, because I want to uplift. You may not be a writer, but you may be a reader of a book, and I want to inspire you, to pick up your next book and read it, or if you are starting out as a writer, to pick up that pen, or either set at your computer at the keyboard and start to write. I want to inspire you to do that, and so I think you've helped with that today, with this great story, with this great interview, talking about the book Scoprion. So before I let you go, I need you to tell everyone where they can find your book, and when you hope for the next two to be out, if they are already in progress.
Well, the book at the moment is at Amazon. Mm-hmm. I think all major places where you can get ebooks and physical books. Now, the publisher went under, so there may be a little bit of a problem of getting it. Okay. If anybody has a problem, they can always email me. Okay. Or go on my website, Cindy Stone at cindystoneauthor.com. I tried to make it easy.
That's simple. That's simple enough. It doesn't get any easier than that. Well, Cindy, it has been a joy. Now I'm about to lose my voice at the end, but that's okay. But it has been a joy to talk with you today about this series.
It's been an absolute joy to talk to you, Vivian. I love your energy and I love your excitement.
Thank you.
I think you glow. I'm pretty sure if I could see you, you'd be glowing.
I may be, when I talk about books, I think I glow from the inside out, because I love it so much. And you can't fake that. You really can't fake that.
You
can't. But again, I thank you so much for agreeing to come on and talk about what it is you do, and talk about your book. And I'm looking forward to reading the first one and also the other two books in the series. I'm probably going to go out there and get my book today. And, I don't get a lot of time to actually read physical books, but I try to listen to audiobooks all the time. Is it available on audio?
Oh, no, not yet, but I really think about doing it on audio.
Okay, you should. You definitely should.
Yeah, I would love to, because I love reading out loud as well.
Yes, I think that would just be awesome. But anyway, until then, we can still get it in the paper form. So, yes. And a lot of people prefer to have a physical book anyway, more so than an electronic one. But I'm I can go either way. It doesn't matter to me. But
yeah, I do both as well.
Yeah. So, but I love the story. Just by reading the just a little bit of the synopsis that I did, but that pulled me in. So, and we talked about Bruce Lee before we actually started the show, and she was telling me too, for all of you martial arts fans, she was telling me about the IP Man, and she said that you can go out there and find it on Netflix, but it tells about Bruce Lee's first instructor, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. So
yes, and it's a wonderful series with Donnie Yen.
Donnie Yen.
As,
okay.
Yes, as the Ip Man. It's really, really well done.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Well, I'm excited about that too. So, again, thank you so very much. Enjoyed the interview, and hopefully, I can reach out to you again when the next books come out, and maybe we can talk about those later on. Hopefully.
Absolutely.
All right then. So I hope
it would be my honor and pleasure.
I would thank you. It would be mine as well. I can't wait. So I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. I have just absolutely loved this interview, and God bless you.
Thank you so much, Vivian, and you.
Thank you. Bye now.
Bye-bye.
All right. That was Cindy Stone, and we talked about her book, Scoprion. And I am going out there to get my copy today, because I absolutely love martial arts. I love all kind of action adventures and sci-fi and fantasy. I love all of those things. That's just right up my alley. So I can't wait to get the book and to read it. And she gave you her web address where you can go out there onto her website to get more information. And also you can go to Amazon and get the book, get the hardcover. And it may be available on Google. I think I may have seen that one too out there on Google. If you want the ebook, definitely go out there and get the book. She sent me a message, so I've got to click back in with her as soon as I end the show. So I will talk to her in just a second. But I want to wrap up the show. And I also, before I let you go, I want to tell you how you can stay in contact with me. Of course, you can listen to the show live each Saturday at 6 o'clock on Spreaker, and that URL is https://www.spreaker.com/user/author Vivian Moore, take you straight to my Spreaker page. And also you can find me on all social media sites, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can go out there and just type in my name, and it should, if you want to Google me, you can just type in my name, Vivian E. Moore, and it'll take you to all of my Facebook pages and all of my social media accounts. It'll take you straight to it. You can also find me on my website, which is https://vivianmoore.wixsite.com/author Vivian Moore. You can also go out there and read the blog. We won't have one today, but we have one from last week. But anyway, if you want to go out there and read those from last week and further back, it is https://vivianemore.blogspot.com. And also, if you missed the live version of today's show, you can listen to it, the recorded version on iTunes, iHeartRadio, SoundCloud, Spotify, and there are a couple of more, but each week I forget to write them down so I can share them with you. But anyway, that's enough. Also on YouTube, if you want to go out there and listen to today's show and any of the other ones prior to today. So I've enjoyed talking with you. I hope you guys have a great weekend. Tomorrow is worship day, so take some family members, take some friends, take some neighbors, and by all means, take some kids with you to church tomorrow, and tell someone that you love them, because tomorrow is not promised. Today may be the only chance. So I love you. I hope you love me back. Until the next time you hear my voice, God bless you and goodbye.
Loved what you've heard on this week's episode? Well, the answer is simple. It would mean the world to us if you could head over to iTunes and leave us a 5-star review and feedback. Spreading the word really is the best way to grow our podcast and achieve even greater things. Thank you.